Eagles, welcome back to the Avion. I'm Chloe Kristovich.
And I'm Kyle Navarro, and that's right, you're back stuck with us this week.
You know, it was nice to have some time off. School has been a little tough lately, I'm not gonna lie.
Tell me about it. Midterm season is not my favorite. I'm already looking forward to spring break.
Oh, me too. I am working my hardest to get my exams done and done well, so I can have a nice spring break trip to sunny California.
Sounds nice. Well, while we grind it out in the meantime, let's hear about what we have going on around campus this week.
Hello Eagles, welcome back to another Avion broadcast. I hope you all enjoyed the Daytona 500 and watching the Thunderbirds perform last weekend. It sure was a treat. I'm Jacob Klein, your Campus Life reporter for this week, here to provide you with all the events going on around campus. If you're looking for ways to advance your career this week, please consider attending one of the resume workshops. A resume writing workshop will be held from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. in the College of Business Room 114 on Tuesday, and a resume review workshop will be held on Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Student Union. The engineering department will also be holding a career services table in the College of Engineering atrium on Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. If you're feeling stressed out this week because of massive workloads, come by the Center for Faith and Spirituality on Wednesday from 11:15 to 11:45 to participate in their How to Relax workshop. It's a great place to learn techniques for stress reduction and relaxation. For all of my social students out there, I would recommend checking out the Gold Bag Conversations event on Wednesday, hosted in the Student Union Room 428 from 6 to 8 p.m. Come by and enjoy some light snacks and roundtable discussions that focus on student-oriented topics. And who could forget this week's Peppy Hour? Swing by the third floor of the Student Union on Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. to hang with fellow students and drink lots of Dr. Pepper floats. And if you're looking for a more relaxing night, the film Cross My Heart will be screening in the College of Aviation Room 100 at 6 p.m. on Thursday. Additionally, the Student Veterans Organization will be streaming the last few episodes of Masters of the Air in the Student Union Room 210 on Friday from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. In other news, Wheelhouse Coffee Cart will be coming to campus on Friday and will be serving students from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. And one more thing, Eaglethon is this Saturday. Come out to the basketball courts in front of the new Res Halls to join the Dance Marathon Club in celebrating a successful year in fundraising and helping children in need. That's all the news I have for you this week. I'm Jacob Klein. Back over to you at the studio.
Thanks, Jacob. There is always something fun that seems to be happening around campus.
I had a blast watching the Thunderbirds all weekend, but I really want to know, why are there never any cool boats around here?
Chloe, we do go to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Well, speaking of boats, I hear that Aki has some national news about a recent find in Lake Superior.
Welcome to National News. Finally concluding a 10-year-long search, the 84-year-old SS Arlington was found nearly 650 feet below the waves and 35 miles from the nearest land in Lake Superior. Superior is the deepest of the 5 Great Lakes and the largest freshwater lake in the world. Shipwreck researcher Dan Fountain was the wreck hunter working the case, having reached out to the Great Lakes Shipwreck Historical Society for assistance after studying remote sensing data and coming across an anomaly. Fountain, the GLSHS Director of Marine Operations Earl Ertel, and the crew of the RV David Boyd used both side-scan sonar and ROV dives to positively confirm the anomaly as the wreck of the Arlington. The Arlington was a Canadian bulk carrier, spanning 24 feet long. She had originally left Port Arthur, Ontario on April 30th, 1940, carrying a full load of wheat en route for Owen Sound, Ontario. While not the most common cargo load on the lakes, that honor goes to iron ore, wheat and grain make up 10% of total cargo ferried around the lakes and the St. Lawrence Seaway, the channel that connects the 5 lakes to each other and the Atlantic Ocean. The Arlington was commanded by seasoned Great Lakes veteran Captain Frederick Burke, but that would not be enough to save the vessel from the brewing storm. The first mate had ordered for a course to hug the Canadian coast in an attempt to spare the vessel from the worst battering of the storm, but Captain Burke countered the order and redirected the vessel back to the original course across the open waters of Lake Superior. On May 1st, the chief engineer sounded the alarm as the vessel began to take on water, and the crew began to abandon ship without orders from their captain. Reports indicate that the captain was near the pilot house of the vessel as it was sinking and was still on board when the lake boat sank below the waves. Burke was the only fatality. With over 6,000 wrecks across all 5 Great Lakes, there are a plethora of mysteries waiting to be uncovered below the waves. Though the mystery of why Captain Burke acted so strangely may never be solved, it is safe to say that the discovery of this wreck offers closure on what happened that fateful day.
Thanks, Aki. That's definitely not something you hear about every day.
Well, speaking of something unique, were you able to watch the launch this past weekend of the Eagle Cam?
Unfortunately, I was not, but I heard a lot of cool things about it.
I'm glad you heard something about it, but since you missed it, we actually have Joey here to give you an update about some more launches coming up.
Hello Eagles, my name is Joseph Colangelo and welcome back to another edition of Fleet Updates. It's been a very busy week in the world of spaceflight, so let's get into the fleet updates for this week. On Friday, February 23rd, SpaceX intends to launch another group of Starlink satellites into orbit, this specific group being designated Group 6-39. Now, while the exact numbers of Starlink satellites in orbit are hard to track, this launch should bring SpaceX close to a little under 6,000 of these satellites launched so far since 2019. The Starlink constellation continues to grow in size and capability, bringing more areas of our world online and bringing more people into the global community. On Wednesday, February 28th, Crew 8 will take off from the Kennedy Space Center, riding in a SpaceX Dragon capsule to the International Space Station for a 6-month crew rotation. Crew 8 includes NASA astronauts Matthew Dominic, serving as the commander, Michael Barat, who is the mission's pilot, Jeanette Epps, our mission specialist, along with Roscosmos cosmonaut and mission specialist Alexander Grabankin. So, that concludes the upcoming launches for this week. Now let's get into the world of space news. SpaceX announced last week that it plans to deorbit 100 of its first-generation Starlink satellites. SpaceX has detected a possible failure point on the first-generation satellites that will make them susceptible to unmaneuverability. This is being done as a precautionary measure to prevent the buildup of potentially dangerous debris in orbit. United Launch Alliance CEO Tory Bruno gave remarks about his company at the Spacecom conference last week, giving a glowing review of the performance of the company's new Vulcan rocket. Boeing and Lockheed Martin, the joint owners of the United Launch Alliance, are planning to sell the company, with industry sources claiming that a sale could come within the next month. And finally, we have some big news this week, as we are currently 2 weeks away from the third launch of the Starship Super Heavy launch vehicle. This is just a test flight, so the primary objectives of the mission are to get the Starship safely to orbit and then hopefully have it survive the forces of re-entry. SpaceX is developing Starship to take people and cargo to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. I've been Joseph Colangelo for Fleet Updates. Now, back to you, Kyle and Chloe.
I know that one of these days I have to get out to a Starship launch.
I don't know, I think I'm a little more concerned about the launch of Taylor Swift's new album.
Of course you are, Chloe. Well, it looks like we're starting to run short on time, but we still have one more segment to do.
That's right, we cannot forget about our sports. Let's take it over to David for more.
Good morning, Eagles. I'm David Allgood, back with another sports report. Wednesday the 21st will be an action-packed day, as the schedule will begin with men's tennis as they step onto the courts at 3:30 p.m. to take on number 9 Rollins. You should also stop by the ICI Center tomorrow night to catch the action on the basketball court with Embry-Riddle taking on Eckerd. Tip-off for the women's game is at 5:30, and the men's game will start shortly after. Now that the Daytona 500 has left town, it can feel like a lull has taken over the outside sports world. But don't forget, hockey and basketball are still carrying on through the last half of their seasons. And MLB pitchers and catchers reported to their respective teams, with spring training soon to be underway. Lots more to come as spring is knocking on the front door. Stay classy, Eagles.
Thanks, David. I know there is no hockey right now, but having the race this past week definitely made up for it.
Tell me about it. I can't wait to see what gets published about it in our next issue, especially some of the photos, being a photographer myself.
Hey, that's pretty neat. What are some of your favorite things to photograph?
I love photographing the races too, but I also enjoy doing sports.
Oh yeah? What sport is your favorite?
Well, if I had to pick, I'd pick baseball, but basketball is a close second, and I'll actually be getting some coverage at the game this Wednesday.
Oh nice. Maybe I'll stop by. I wonder though, have you ever shot photos of animals?
You know, I haven't yet, but one of these days I might try taking some pictures of sharks.
Sharks? Well, that reminds me, we've got a shark of the week to introduce. Did you guess what last week's was?
You know, I didn't, but I think I narrowed it down to a couple.
Well, please allow me to enlighten you. Last week's shark is a slow swimmer and is typically caught at night. It's most known for its distinctive bite shape, and it is the cookie cutter shark.
I knew it. I'll get it right one of these days, though.
One day, hopefully. These creepy-looking sharks also have the largest teeth relative to the size of its body, and use bioluminescence to glow in the dark and lure in prey.
Well, that is a fun fact I hope I never have to find out for myself.
How about finding out some facts on the next shark?
You know, I've got just the one in mind. This shark is for all our West Coast people, and for where you will be visiting too, actually. It is most commonly found off the coast of California.
It's made to feed off the bottom, so its mouth is actually on the underside of its head. You can also tell how old the shark is based on the coloring of its spots.
Good luck guessing, Eagles, and make sure you tune in next week to find out what shark it is.
With that, we are out of time. We will see you next week. I'm Chloe Kristovich.
And I'm Kyle Navarro. Remember, it's a great day to be an Eagle.